Isaiah 23 through 27. Well, we heard back in this Psalm 82 and 83 video a subject which is now becoming even more clear here in the prophets, and that is that the gods that Yahweh has created will someday, well, back in Psalm 82, they were predicted to quote, die like Adam. Now that word Adam can be understood as Adam or humankind, but I think it's a wistful memory of the Genesis 3 story where Adam didn't die physically that day, but he lost glory. And I think, and what Paul will say in Romans 3, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. There's that, again, wistful memory of what happened in the garden. So I think there comes out of Psalm 82 a promise of punishment to the created Elohim. And the reason I think that's a certainty by the time the story really gets moving along is the prophets. And here in Isaiah, and then some other prophets, which we'll talk about here, this theme of punishment of these gods becomes very clear, very real. Here's Isaiah 24, beginning in verse 21. It shall come to pass in that day, and I think that day is the end of time when this earth will be destroyed. It shall come to pass in that day that the Lord will punish on high the host of exalted ones, and on the earth its kings. They will be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit. So again, remember how kings on the earth think of themselves as representing their God on high. They will be gathered together and will be shut up in the prison. After many days they will be punished. Then the moon will be disgraced and the sun ashamed. The idea of celestial lights often is associated with gods. For the Lord of hosts will reign on Mount Zion and in Jerusalem and before his elders gloriously. That's Isaiah 24, beginning in verse 21. In Isaiah 34, beginning in verse 2, it says, For the indignation of the Lord is against all nations, and his fury against all their armies. He has utterly destroyed them. He has given them over to the slaughter. Also their slain will be thrown out. Their stench shall rise from the corpses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. So again, this is the end of time. All the host of heaven will be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled up like a scroll. All their host shall fall down as the leaf falls from the vine and as the fruit falls from a fig tree. Again, prediction that these beings will somehow fall, I take it, in their glory. Jeremiah 10, beginning in verse 10. But the Lord is the true God. He is the living God and the everlasting King. At his wrath the land, or the earth, will tremble, and the nations will not be able to endure his indignation. Thus you shall say to them, the Elohim that have not made the heavens and the earth will perish. And let's hang on to that word, perish. From the earth and from under these heavens. Zephaniah 2, verse 11. The Lord will be awesome to them, for he will reduce to nothing all the Elohim of the land. People shall worship him, each one from his place, indeed all the shores of the nations. Haggai 2, verse 6. For thus says the Lord of hosts, once more, it is a little while, I will shake the heavens and the earth and the sea and the dry land. I will shake this up, I'll shake this up. Both groups will be going down, as it were. Now, I'm not going to write them in for space, but now let's think of some New Testament reflections on these ideas. In Mark 1:24, a demon speaks to Jesus, and he says this, have you come to, and he quotes the Greek translation of the Hebrew, have you come to destroy us, perish us? In other words, I believe that what we have, and we'll get to this, of course, in the life of Jesus, these gods have come down on the earth in an unprecedented number and quality, shall we say, and Jesus is meeting them one by one. And one of them even quotes Jeremiah 10:10. Is this the day that we will perish? Matthew 24:29. Immediately after the tribulation of these days, and this is Jesus talking, the sun will be darkened, the moon will not give its light, the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. That's Jesus' prediction of the future. Paul has this interesting comment in Romans 16:20. And the God of peace will crush Satan under your feet shortly. I think he's, again, thinking ahead to that future moment. And then Revelation 11:18. This to me is the summary, again, almost a fulfillment of Psalm 82. The nations, this is Revelation 11:18, the nations were angry, and your wrath has come, and the time of the dead that they shall be judged, and that you, God, should reward your servants, the prophets and the saints, and those who fear your name, small and great, and should destroy those who destroy the earth. We remember back in Psalm 82 that the foundations of the earth are shaken. The creation project is in peril, it says in Psalm 82, because of the work of these gods. And the promise now is coming very clearly through the prophets that these gods will someday be punished.